I've been thinking about how if I'm dying and my husband's there and he's not crying, I'm really pissed off.
Oh, no,
so I'm going to need him to cry. And I just don't know if he's going to be able to work up those tears for me.
Welcome to Farewelling, a new podcast where we talk about death and dying to learn more about living. My name's Karen Bussen, and I'm here as your host, but I'm on this journey too, just trying to open up the conversation around this most human experience and what it means for each of us. Over the course of the season, I'll talk to comedians, writers, experts, funeral directors, and even my own family to work out why death is such a taboo subject in our culture and why it's so important that we do open up about the subject with our friends and loved ones. Today, I'm joined by the genius comedian and viral sensation, Sarah Cooper. The fact that she used to work at Google as a user experience designer just makes Google look better, if you ask me. Sarah has written 2 best-selling and ridiculously funny books, 100 Tricks to Appear Smart in Meetings, and How to Be Successful Without Hurting Men's Feelings. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you so much. I really don't think I can live up to that intro, but I will definitely try.
Okay.
I feel very honored to be here. Thank you so much for the snacks. Amazing.
Right? Let's get into that because, Sarah, I'm someone you portray in your humor. Okay, someone you call a people pleaser. You know, that kind of person who just only wants what you want, or at least acts like it to get on your good side. But in its best sense, you could just call that an Ohioan. Someone from the state of Ohio, which I am also, because I can tell you right now, if you dial any number in the 513 area code, people are going to answer the phone in a way that seems overly nice, especially to someone who has lived in New York City for a while. So let's discuss this feast for the senses that I've laid out before ye. Is the sheer scale of it impressive to you?
Yes. Honestly, I said that I like these chewy peanut butter chocolate chip bars. I was expecting maybe a few of those. Instead, I have an entire jar of peanut butter, an entire jar of chocolate frosting, an entire bag of chocolate chip cookies. We have other, you got pretty much every peanut butter chocolate chip granola bar you can find, and Reese's, and champagne, and water. I mean, it's just smart, it's sweet, it's amazing.
Well, thank you. I did bring a variety. I tend to overdo it a little bit. I think we should start with this Laurent Perrier rosé champagne.
Yes, please.
Shall we have a toast?
Yes, let's have a toast.
To this great, big, crazy life.
To everything that's happening.
I know that being a genius, you are
I'm not a genius.
Okay.
I'm not a genius.
You're about to find out who you're dealing with here, and you might reevaluate yourself based on the following criteria.
I can't take compliments, so this is going to be very hard for me.
Hey, maybe that's another thing we should talk about, women and compliments. But I was thinking that you are a fan of the Venn diagram, are you not? Okay. Which is, for anyone out there who doesn't know, a Venn diagram is where you draw 2 overlapping circles, and then you write words on the circles to impress your coworkers. I learned it from your site, the Cooper Review, where you have an article that has been viewed like nearly, 3 million times or something, and it's called 10 Tricks to Look Smart in Meetings. So you tell people to just draw these 2 circles and don't even necessarily have to write any words in them.
Right.
And then just sit down, because why?
Well, if you get up and you go to the whiteboard, immediately you look like you're taking charge of the meeting. Everybody quiets down. What are you going to draw on the whiteboard? You draw a Venn diagram. Wow. Immediately, people are like, oh, this person knows what they're talking about. And then someone else will just kind of take over and be like, oh, no,
just
no,
were
no.
like, boom.
Yeah, you're like,
mic drop.
Marker drop,
Marker drop.
Whiteboard marker drop, and just go back to your desk. Exactly.
I love it. It's like fold your arms and be like,
Yep.
Okay, so I don't know if you can see my version over there.
Yeah.
It's the overlapped part where granola bars of a peanut butter chocolate persuasion are in perfect harmony with the elegant, fruit-forward quality of a delightful rosé champagne.
Oh, wow.
But I think
2 circles, things that taste like peanut butter and chocolate. The other one, things that taste like jelly. And then in the middle would be...
It would be like the whole experience.
Oh, gotcha.
This is what I'm saying.
Everything.
That's why I can't get hired at Google, such as yourself.
No. This Venn diagram would literally get you in the door very quickly.
Hey, that's good to know.
Yeah.
If the podcast doesn't work out. So we've established that you're a genius.
Oh, my God.
How often do you think about the fact that we're all going to die?
I would say lately, since I turned 40, probably once a day. Yeah.
Okay.
At least once a day.
Do you come from a family who are kind of open about, like, thinking about, you know, the topic of death and dying and planning for it and sitting around the table?
A little bit. I mean, my grandmother was almost 100 when she died 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then my mom's parents died much longer ago. I think that my parents are okay discussing it. My mom talks about what she thinks is going to happen when she dies, and my dad is very religious.
Can you say more about that? Like, what's going to happen, like, meaning the afterlife, or meaning, like, what her funeral is going to be like?
Yeah, the afterlife.
Okay.
The actual funeral, no. We haven't really talked about that part.
Yeah. You know, I'm sorry about your grandmother. But wow, 100 years old, that's an amazing accomplishment. You know, I just wonder, like, someone of her generation, did she have a plan that you know of, or was it just like the family just kind of knew what to do and just sort of did it? Or did they fight about it?
No, it feels like the family really knew what to do. And the funeral, I was just telling someone the other day about it, because there were all these people that I'd never met before telling all these stories about these sweet things that my grandmother did for them that I had never heard.
Wow.
And I think those are the best tributes, are the stories that are like, well, she brought me food when so-and-so died, or she helped me when this, and you never heard about it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm going to have to pay someone to tell a story like that about me, because I don't think I do things like that for people.
All the people who have read How to Be Successful Without Hurting Men's Feelings, my sister included, and myself, but my sister, like, takes that book to work with her. And like,
yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to have like an open bar for people to show up.
if your friends and family had a party in your honor and they wanted to do something that was like uniquely you, so everybody like, that's so him, what would that element be?
It would be fun. Mexican food.
And a tequila
There
bar?
should be, tequila's dandy, and there should be a lake nearby, or water.
Oh, you love the
We love
water.
the lake. Yeah, we love the water. Grew up on it, water ski all the time.
Well, I hope it doesn't happen, but if I die before my mother, I want her to know that I want to party. I don't want sadness. I don't want her to cry.
They would sit around and talk about what they remembered about me, hopefully the positive stuff.
Have you ever been to a funeral where something kind of crazy or even something great happened?
I've really only been to 2 funerals. I've been to my grandfather's funeral and my grandmother's funeral.
Okay.
And I mean, gosh, now I have to knock on wood.
I'm sorry.
That,
okay, don't blame me.
You know, I really haven't experienced the type of loss that I think a lot of people have experienced. And just lately, I've been like, wow, I have a handful of summers left with my parents, you know, and just the thought of that is very sad. And I think it's going to be sad for my whole family because we really had, we had my grandfather until he was 99. We had my grandmother until she was 100. And we just really haven't experienced it. And both funerals were beautiful. The only weird thing is that my dad didn't cry at either of them.
Oh, wow.
And I've never seen my father cry.
Like ever?
Ever. And I've never seen my husband cry, ever. And I've been thinking about how if I'm dying and my husband's there and he's not crying, I'm really pissed off.
Oh, no,
so I'm going to need him to cry.
No, he needs to cry.
And I just don't know if he's going to be able to work up those tears for me.
He needs, well, he can use your video on how to cry on
Which
cue.
is another thing that I've been thinking about. I created this video about how to cry on cue.
Which is amazing,
by the way. It's how to fake cry, so you're not really crying, but you keep your eyes open.
It really looks like it.
It really works. Your eyes get so dry. Actors use it all the time. You'll see them not blinking, and it's because they're trying to get their eyes dry so that they form tears. And on my last day at Google, all of my team created a video for me where they all tried to do that trick.
Yeah.
And I thought it was funny at the time, and now I'm like, wait, am I teaching people to pretend to be sad about me leaving? Have I taught people to pretend to be interested in me and pretend to be sad, and now that's the culmination of my life?
Oh my gosh. No, I think it's really, it's something that people will use in certain situations where it is required of them. Because, like if you are, for example, an actress or someone who like literally you got to bring home the bacon and the bacon is the tears on cue and the director is like when you say the director's yelling at you, like, you're terrible.
What am I paying you for?
Yeah, exactly. But would you be able to, even if you were looking at your own service, for example, this is like 200 years from now, you're there, your husband's there, and he is fake crying, would you be able to tell the difference?
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
100% would.
then you need to beat that into
And the
him.
other thing is, I was really crying my last day at Google, bawling tears, and they thought I was fake. They couldn't tell that I was really crying, and I really was.
That's because you're fake crying. I'm telling you, people, you need to go on the website and like look at her doing this fake crying because it's compelling.
Yeah.
And when you blink and the tears just like go rolling, yeah, it's compelling. I like it a lot. We just mentioned that you're married.
Yeah.
And although this confuses me because you are so smart.
Why would I do this to myself? I agree.
Hey, everyone out there, I am a wedding planner of many years, so I love love and I love weddings, all right? Now, how long have you been married?
Almost 5 years.
All right, so then do you and your husband, have you ever had a conversation about what do we want for ourselves or like?
So my husband and I joke a lot. We make a lot of jokes. And so we've had, I think, fun conversations about, I want to be cremated and I would like my ashes spread somewhere that is really special to me. But the only special place really is my bed because I love taking naps. But that seems like not a good idea to spread your ashes there. So I really can't figure out where I would want my ashes spread. Somebody suggested you can take them and put them in a crystal and have that shot into space.
That's true.
That sounds kind of cool. So maybe something like that.
I'm sure Elon Musk is going to do something to make money off that.
Yeah.
At some point, and just have them out there. Stardust.
Yeah.
We're all stardust, so they say.
I just don't think I want a headstone.
See, this is where I get a little, let's say, caught up, is on the one hand, I want people to remember me. And like if there's no place that like the pilgrims can come and visit me, but at the same time, I don't like the idea of being buried at all. So, that's one of those things is like if you don't have a marker of some sort, does that limit the amount of adoration that you're going to get in the future?
Well, here's the thing. I think Freddie Mercury has a grave that no one knows where it is.
Oh, wow.
And we still remember him, don't we?
That's true, we do.
Really, there's no correlation between those two things. I mean, for people to remember you, it's about the connections that you've made in your life. It's not about the marker.
Okay, that's true.
In
it's not
fact,
about the real estate.
If you need a marker for people to remember that you were there, then that means they remembered you less.
Wow. Okay. So I've been looking at this all wrong. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I love this idea that you live on in the memories of people. And that's kind of the idea of immortality is how many people you can touch. But at the same time, there's this beautiful quote from Bull Durham, which is, "Many a flower was born to blush unseen and wasted sweetness on the desert air." And this idea that there are many people that die in obscurity. No one knew that they died. There are people that don't have a funeral. Like, they're just as important as people that everyone remembers, right? I have to believe that.
They are.
I'm torn on that.
And that a quiet life can be a magnificent life in its simplicity as well.
Yeah.
No, okay, wow. Aren't we getting a little bit of a lesson here in philosophy?
This isn't funny at all.
Gosh, jeez. So since we were talking about needing to have a marker or not have a marker, and since you now have a mouthful of snack, I'm going to ask you to do something for me, which is I went to the Trinity Church Cemetery, and I was just wandering through there, and I saw this very big gravestone, and I started reading it. And I was wondering if you would just read this, because I think you're going to relate to it, and I want to get your thoughts on it. It's a guy named William Bradford.
Here lies the body of Mr. William Bradford, printer, who departed this life May 23rd, 1752, aged 92 years. He was born in Leicestershire, in Old England, in 1660 and came over to America in 1682 at the age of 22. Before the city of Philadelphia was laid out, he was printer to this government upwards of 50 years, and being quite worn out with old age and labor, he left this mortal state in the lively hope of a blessed immortality. Reader, reflect how soon you'll quit the stage. You'll find but few who attain to such an age. Life is full of pain. Lo, here's a place of rest. Prepare to meet your God. Then you are blessed. Here also lies the body of Elizabeth, wife to the said William Bradford, who departed this life July 8th, 1731, aged 68 years. That's not cool.
I just knew you'd have something to say on that. Can I just, first of all, I like your math. We know you're a genius and that you calculated the age of him when he came over. Did you notice that William Bradford, first of all, gets 114 words in that, by the way, etched on a gravestone, they wrote that he was a printer twice. Somebody etched that into a gravestone.
It was very important.
Okay.
It's also capitalized.
And he gets 2 more words if you count the fact that his full name is actually repeated, fully repeated, in the one sentence about his wife, Elizabeth's death, reducing her word count to somewhere between like 17 and 21 words if you take out the wife to the said William Bradford. I mean, this is a wordy gravestone.
And she was 20 years younger than him.
And that's what she got. She didn't get her own gravestone. She didn't get, was she a printer?
No.
What was she doing?
The fact that she got mentioned at all back then, honestly, is
Really?
probably
It's
a
probably
great
like a big
thing.
Okay, I like your attitude.
I mean,
that's
this was
positive.
the 18th century, and women weren't really that. But I mean, they could have said something about
Just
her.
anything, like mother, or
Also,
like,
if she
I don't know.
died before him, he should have written something about. Maybe he did,
And it got replaced.
and it got replaced because he was a printer, and that was more important. I don't know.
If you say so, but I just, something about it got me like up in arms.
Old Billy Bradford.
Bill Bradford, what are you thinking? Elizabeth, I bet you she was great.
And she probably gave him like 20 kids.
You know?
Yeah. I love this, reader, reflect how soon you'll quit the stage.
I know. It's like, this is what kills me, is they do that whole first thing about him. He's from old Worcestershire.
Sure, yeah.
And he was a printer, and like blah, 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 blah. Then they pause to like direct it at us out here. Like, make sure, be
Yes.
prepare yourself,
Yeah,
right? And then there's just like, oh, and by the way,
Yeah.
Elizabeth.
It's like when
She was here.
like a host of a show will say the name of the person. They don't say it last. So if you're like, the next person coming to the stage is Sarah Cooper, and she's great. Put your hands together. It's like, no, you say, here, the next comedian coming to the stage, put your hands together for Sarah Cooper, And so
Exactly.
they pretty much ended it. And like, no one's going to read after that little quote.
Exactly.
So,
Plus, people are going to be so scared they're going to run away
right.
at that point, because that's basically like, get yourself together.
Right. Why are you wasting time reading this? Life is short. And then you read about Elizabeth.
What do you think about men?
I think they're the worst. God, why? Why? That's the question.
It really is.
Why?
What about those men who, looking aside at whether they do cry at their wives' funerals or not, but as soon as they lose their wife, they just go up and get another one?
Yeah, like a gerbil. You
What
know
is
when
that?
a kid, like, their gerbil dies and you just go out and get another one?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this gerbil situation.
I mean,
And I thought
It's a
about it,
serious
and I was
situation.
like, I hope I'm not a ghost that gets to see who came to my funeral and who didn't, because that's going to piss me off for the rest of my afterlife, whatever that is.
yes.
But what if you had a best friend, and as soon as you died, they mourned for a few hours, and then they went out and they found someone exactly like you just to replace you? It's kind of nice, actually. They found someone exactly like you. They
Because-
missed you so much that they had to find someone exactly like you.
See, now I like how you're kind of spinning everything on a positive axis there.
Well, you want the
But-
person to be happy.
Really, do you? Because I want them literally, I want them crawling on the casket or whatever is the like symbol of me.
Yes,
And I want
right.
them just like, I want them just breaking down,
I know. I know,
I
because I think about how sad I'm going to be
Yeah.
if I'm the one who has to bury my husband. It's going to tear me apart.
Yeah.
And I would hope, that he would be ripping his
Yeah.
own heart out as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, yeah, I mean, I'm gone. So what's the point of him being sad for too long?
All right. So then Have you ever seen a movie where the death of a fictional character really affected you?
So we're allowed to give away endings of things.
Yeah,
then.
sorry, people. If you haven't seen movies, like, we can't help you.
Have you seen Mad Men?
Are you kidding? I'm going to write a book called The Tao of Mad Men.
Oh, wow.
Everything I ever needed to learn,
Yeah.
I learned from Don Draper.
I just watched the whole thing.
Oh, God.
through.
Are you going to talk about, who are you going to talk about?
The thing that I'm thinking is when Glenn comes back from Vietnam, he won't ever see Betty again. And I realized that. And I thought how sad that is.
Oh, geez. He was like kind of the only person who ever really appreciated her.
Yes. That was her one true connection, and it was his connection as well.
But we're also assuming that he does come back.
Yes, we're assuming that he does come back.
Because it could be even sadder.
Maybe he doesn't come back. Actually, that would be better. But if he comes back and she's gone, that's going to ruin his life. So yeah, that thought, it wasn't necessarily that Betty was dying. It was the fact of the people around her and how they would react to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was watching the episode where Betty Draper, she gets her diagnosis. She knows she's going to die. And she writes her funeral instructions out in a letter to her daughter, Sally. And then you hear her voice, Betty's voice, reading it, but it's Sally. You see Sally reading it and crying. And the thing that just blew my mind was she was like, "Put me in the blue chiffon." And I was like, oh my God, this woman is thinking about what dress she wants to wear for all eternity. And on the one hand, it was just like, so like, whoa, 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 whoa. I never thought about that. You have to think about those choices. And it made me start thinking about, oh, well, what would happen to me if something happens to me? Like, my sister's going to come in my apartment. Like, what's she going to do? Is she going to pick out like a black, pair of leggings and like a T-shirt? Is that my destiny? And I was like, okay, I need to think about this and like take control of it. And I just, for all of your love-hate of Betty, she took control of her narrative.
Yeah. And it was weird because I thought, oh, she's leaving her daughter a beautiful picture of her. I didn't think about until they read that part that the picture was because she wanted to say, this is what I want to look like in the casket.
Yeah.
And how, as a 16-year-old girl, to read that is just heartbreaking. If
you had to choose something to wear for all eternity, like, what would that be?
It'd be cool is if I was just naked, but nobody knew, and they would just come up, and the last thing they see is
open
this
casket,
crypt keeper body. No, that would be awful. I'm just thinking about The Shining now.
Oh God. Oh yeah.
I mean, why don't they like put you in a position? I want to be like on a stage with my mic stand, like I'm doing stand-up comedy, and that's how I want people to.
You're actually laughing, but I saw something like that where they did that with a guy. I don't know if he was riding a motorcycle or something, but they propped him up, and he was like wearing his favorite outfit. That, must have been like 100 years ago. They used to take death. Photographs.
Photos, that's right.
And they would set people up and dress them up. And sometimes they would even put them with their favorite things and sort of make a document of the things around that person. So I'm kind of like, I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, because the Egyptians used to be buried with all their favorite things. I like that idea.
Yeah. Well, okay, that brings up a question. They do say you can't take it with you. But if you were to pack for the afterlife, what 3 things would you take?
Twitter? No. No, actually, that's my fear, is that someone will mention Twitter at my funeral. So I'm going to have to write that in. Please don't talk about Twitter. Even though I'm very active on Twitter, I'm on Twitter way too much. I'm not proud of it, so I don't want people talking about it. So wait, can I use these things?
Yeah.
Or, okay, so my laptop.
Yes, okay. Yeah,
because I want to write. I want to write in the afterlife.
You don't have to take Wi-Fi with you. Okay. You just have to take the actual laptop.
Pictures. That's what I want, pictures.
Memories.
Yeah.
Now, what is one unknown fact that you would like included in a eulogy about you?
I'm trying not to be vindictive because my first thing is to be like, I want this person to know that really hurt when they did that.
Oh, It's like,
She
not
remembered
cool,
that.
Sharon.
Yeah, not cool. They should just have a section of the funeral that's like, this is the portion where we're calling out people for
my
the
God.
shit they did to Sarah.
I love
and
that.
she never forgot it. Just so you know, just so you think you're here and you're invited and it's all cool. It's not.
Yeah, and she's gone now.
And she's
but
gone
no.
now, but you're going to have to live the rest of your lives knowing that.
Where
Yeah,
you were called
because
out.
I'm such a people pleaser and I didn't have the guts to have the confrontation when I was alive. It's going to happen now. And my friends are going to do it for me.
What would you want people to say about you in 100 years?
In 100 years?
Yeah, because you're going to touch all those lives, remember? And then everyone's going to remember you. And so what would you like them to say about you in 100 years?
Well, I'm going to try not to cry.
Oh.
Isn't it weird? Like, as soon as you say you're going to try not to cry, you start crying.
Yeah, that's okay. We cry here all the time. Here, you need tissue.
It's the champagne.
Yeah, it's okay.
So, I don't know how many people I've really touched in my life, but I would hope that even the people that I didn't keep in touch with as much as I wanted to would say something about a special moment that we had together that maybe no one knew about. And I would just hope that even if I was, not as present as I wanted to be in people's lives, I would want them to say that I inspired them to do something that they didn't think that they could do. Inspire them to try something new or try something that scared them or, because that's kind of the thing that I've tried to do in my life is things that scare me and things that I love and things that excite me. And so even if you didn't really know me personally, you didn't talk to me every day, like I would want to hear those stories of the things that they did that were, partially inspired by the chances that I took in my life.
Yeah. So if you had to write your own epitaph, something to go on a headstone, even though I know you said you don't want one, but like if you had to write one, what would it be? Wife of
Wife of
Sarah,
Jeffrey.
wife of
Yeah.
died on the stage.
Something about the fact that I'm here, but I'm not really here. I'm actually right behind you.
Watching your every move.
Yeah, just something kind of irreverent and ironic.
Of course.
Yeah.
We would
about-
expect nothing less of you.
Yeah, so here lies Sarah, but is she really here? No, turn around, and maybe there's a tree and it has something in it that is like, oh, that's Sarah, or just look around and, me along with everyone who has passed on that you love is around you all the time. Something like that. I don't know.
Nice. Or, you could also borrow a little bit from old Bill Bradford there about hey, I may be gone, but you all need to get yourselves together. And by the way, I haven't forgotten anything that you did. You could throw that in there.
Yeah, I think
he's got there's 3 sentences in there about that.
Yeah,
so
I like that.
You could do that.
Yeah, I like that. Prepare to meet your God. I don't like that part though.
No, but just prepare to let me never forget what you did to me.
Right. That me, as well as my memories of the thing you did, live on in eternity.
Exactly. I like that.
Yeah.
I could get on board with that. What about refreshments that would be served at a farewelling in your honor?
I would need a signature cocktail, which would be a mule, not a Moscow mule, but maybe a Jamaican mule.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah. This spread right here,
right?
Actually,
just some chewy chocolate chip peanut butter granola bars,
pizza, and
some
McDonald's.
icing.
Now this is my final meal. If I was gonna be,
this is you, what you want to eat.
Have you ever thought about your final meal?
Yeah, it's Campbell's tomato soup. and a grilled cheese sandwich.
Oh.
I'm sorry, people, but that's my like food. So it would be something like that.
Yeah.
Well, Sarah Cooper, thank you so much for being here with us today. This has been an absolute pleasure. It's been a snack fest. It's been champagne-tastic,
Yes.
if I do say so myself. And everyone, if you'd like to learn more about Sarah Cooper and her amazing books and her work, take a look at myfarewelling.com, and we're going to have some extra content there for you to check out. Thanks for joining us today, and everyone, until next time, this has been Farewelling, the podcast.
One